back again for another deep dive. We just love digging into the stories behind these amazing works of art. And, well, today we're going to be looking at a piece called Serenity Peaks.
Mm-hmm.
It's by an artist who goes by Northwind Illustrations.
Oh, yeah, I've seen their stuff.
Yeah, really cool stuff. And, if this is your first time listening to one of these deep dives, you might want to check out some of our older episodes.
Yeah, definitely.
We've been on quite the artistic journey.
We have.
But Serenity Peaks, this piece really stood out to me.
Oh, yeah.
And, it turns out the artist actually shared some of their process and inspiration behind the piece.
Oh, wow.
On their Artist Journal podcast.
Okay.
And so we're going to be taking a deep dive into that today.
Very cool.
But just the image itself, it's really powerful.
It is. It's very evocative.
So powerful. And, the initial inspiration behind it was this towering, snow-capped peak that the artist encountered on like a spring morning walk.
Oh, wow.
They were doing an art walk and they came across this. And it just, really struck them.
Yeah, I can see that.
It made them think a lot about, a mountain.
Right.
Enduring through the seasons and the way that everything changes around it.
Like it's the symbol of stability, almost.
Yeah. And that's exactly what they said, thinking about this mountain,
right?
As this enduring thing.
Yeah.
And then, the changing seasons around it.
Yeah.
And that contrast really got them thinking. And that's how this Serenity Peaks piece came to be.
It's almost like a metaphor for life in a way, isn't it?
Yeah. Finding that grounding, that stillness, even when everything around you is, kind of chaotic and moving and changing.
Yeah, exactly. Like the mountain is always there.
Yeah.
No matter what's happening in the world around it.
Yeah. And, looking at the piece, it's so interesting how they capture that, that feeling of stability, but also that kind of dynamic energy.
Totally.
And nature.
Yeah.
Through their style.
Right.
So they have this really interesting blend of like expressive, modern abstraction, but then they also mix in these realistic touches.
I see. Yeah.
And so it has this really interesting feel to it where it's both, abstract and representational at the same time.
Yeah, you can definitely see both of those things coming through.
And like the way they depict the mountain peaks with these flowing, almost jagged lines.
Right.
It's like they're not just showing movement, but also the passage of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like the struggles that the mountain has gone through to stand so tall.
Yeah, it's like you can feel the history of the mountain in those lines.
Yeah, and the colors are so interesting too.
Yeah, what about those?
So you have these contrasting, white summits, these rust-colored ridges, and then these deep green valleys.
Right.
It's like all this dynamic tension going on.
It is dynamic for sure.
Like the mountain is both strong and also vulnerable at the same time.
Yeah. It's like it's been through a lot, but it's still standing.
But then they have this like really muted sage green sky.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Which is so grounding.
Like a visual anchor almost.
Yeah, you've got all this dynamic energy going on in the mountain, but then the sky is this like calm, stable presence.
Right.
And, that sage green color, I don't know,
it's very peaceful.
It just makes me feel so peaceful and tranquil.
Yeah, it evokes a feeling of tranquility for sure.
And maybe even a bit of wisdom.
Yeah, like the mountain has seen so much and it's learned from it all.
Yeah, and the artist actually said that, they really wanted this piece to inspire a sense of resilience in the viewer.
Oh, wow.
They actually said, let me pull up the exact quote here.
Yeah.
Let this artwork be a reminder that while life moves and evolves, there is strength in standing firm and being grounded in embracing change while holding on to what truly matters.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that a beautiful sentiment?
It is.
It really makes you think about, how we as humans have that same capacity for resilience.
We do.
Like the mountain standing firm against the elements.
Yeah, we can learn to stand tall amidst life's challenges.
Yeah, speaking of the elements, I was looking at the rust colors in the ridges.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking, they obviously represent the rock itself, but I feel like they also speak to the mountain's history.
Absolutely.
Like how it's weathered so much over time.
Yeah, like it's wearing its history on its surface.
Yeah. And those rust colors, they don't just suggest age.
Right.
But they also hint at that process of weathering,
Yeah.
Of enduring the elements and coming out stronger on the other side.
It's a testament to its resilience.
It is. And so if we tie this back to what we were talking about earlier, with the mountain as this symbol of stability, it's almost like Serenity Peaks is reminding us that true strength comes from weathering life's storms.
Yeah.
Not avoiding them.
Absolutely. It's about facing those challenges head on.
And, that makes me wonder, what are your mountains, so to speak?
That's a great question.
What personal symbols or experiences help you find that sense of grounding and stability when things get tough?
That's something to think about.
Yeah, it's something for all of us to ponder, I think. And, if you're as moved by this piece as we are, I highly encourage you to check out Serenity Peaks and Northwind Illustrations' other work.
Definitely worth exploring.
There's a whole world of contemplation and inspiration to uncover there.
Absolutely, a lot to think about.
So much.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on another deep dive.
My pleasure.
We'll see you next time.
See ya!